That's what you're coming for.
Guys, and welcome back to the Brunch Club by Ella. We just want to say thank you so much for all the support on our first episode. And this episode we wanted to be really funny because I know we ruffled some feathers with the OnlyFans. So we asked the funniest man in Northern Ireland to come on, but Shane Todd was busy. So
I fucking knew you were going to do that. I was like, who's it going to be? Paddy Raff? Fuck.
welcome, Micky Bartlet.
It's Greg. How's it going? How's everybody doing?
Oh, we were introducing me now. And I'm Meatball, I'm here as well on the show.
Sorry, we also have a co-host.
What's up? First of all, foremost, thanks for coming on the show today.
Anytime.
I know we had a little joke saying I'll put you in a headlock and make sure you bring your gum shield. So
Yeah, I didn't bring it. I forgot to bring it.
Oh, what?
No gum shields in the street? You said there was no gum shields in the street fight? So I didn't bring one?
Gemma told me.
I'm undefeated in the street.
Oh, really?
From the streets. We're matchy
Tell you
today.
what, that's been up so many holes. I mean, as in fighting, I'm not like, it's not my only fans.
So before we get started, we wanted just to relax and play a wee game.
Right.
Now the game was supposed to be called True or False.
Uh-huh.
But my mum made the paddles wrong. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Mum. So it's now called Yes or No. So, you want to ask the
Right,
question?
I'll
Oh, you
both of
only
them?
need one.
What do you
Oh,
do?
you got two?
That's for Thomas.
Oh.
Right.
He's coming on later.
Is it just me on my own? This is fucking interrogation. Alright, here we go.
So,
Is it true that Molly has the shortest arms in the UFC?
the whole of the UFC.
I don't like.
I want to go, yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Have you got the smallest arms in the UFC?
Funny side note though, last year, to the whole UFC roster, I landed the second most significant strike, so out of any man or woman, and they could have had 5 fights, 6 fights, 7 fights, but...
See, I have wee short arms as well, so you
Yeah,
just
no, I
built
see
for
it.
hooks, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Fucking-
they call me T-Rex.
You told me about yourself.
You want to see me trying to make a bed?
We were told to stop talking about yourself.
It's your podcast, what do you want?
Because we got 40 minutes of outtakes of Gemma talking about being Miss GB in 2008. I was Miss
Get over it,
Silverstone, you know.
I know, I really have to let that one go.
Okay, here's the next one. I fucking love this one. True or false?
Or yes or no?
Sorry.
Right, yes or no, yes or no.
Sorry. Did Gemma Garrett refuse to move out of a VIP in a nightclub for Rihanna?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Was that here?
Yeah.
You're fucking town, Gemma, you're right.
My friend was the manager of the club, and she came up and she said, like, we were mid-party, and she said, Gemma, Rihanna might be coming, so we're going to move you.
Mid-party, could you imagine?
Means I was blitzed.
Rihanna, sit down, love.
And my...
Do you want a wee glass of Prosecco?
So champagne here, lads.
So my friend said, we're going to move you down to another wee area because Rihanna's coming in. And I said, no, definitely not. I moved in the end though.
Aye,
But
because
yeah.
the security guards and stuff.
Yeah, they told me, you have to go now.
Just imagine you and Rihanna doing blue wicked straw challenges. Do you want to be out the shop?
This place.
Sorry.
Okay. Is it true Molly once tracked down a troll, rapped on their door in Liverpool?
I want to go 100% yes.
These are all like just yeses, aren't they?
No, there's
Did you track your troll down right enough?
She
Yeah,
did.
fucking did,
What
lads, yeah.
did you do? What happened?
I fucking did, yeah. Sorry, I've been told not to swear 4 times deep already in 4 minutes, but it was when I first started getting a bit more of successful fights under my belt, and people was just being a bit like unkind on Twitter. So anyway, someone just followed me on Twitter saying, look, any men who kick off on women fighters, I find out where they live, blah blah blah. So anyway, this troll's like, look, I'll come down to your gym at this time, fuck you up, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, alright mate. 5th time I'm saying fuck, sorry. And then the fella messaged me, got his IP address, and I just knocked on the door. I was like, what are you going to do now? Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Absolutely bricked it, apologised to me. I did it. Look, the thing was, and I was like, no lad, listen, you don't get to say that to someone like me. I was like, you're sat there on your phone or the laptop, and at least I'm trying to make a go at my career. Do you know what I mean?
I just love how you're a Deliveroo for an ass kicking. Ding dong, kadoosh.
I like that.
Finish him.
The guy just doesn't move, and you're like, where'd he go? That guy's just in his house and the water starts shaking in his glass. He's like,
Is it true or false, or yes or no? Did Molly ever have a small role in Brookside?
oh no.
Oh, this lad is too
You're too
fucking-
good.
Did I get that right?
Well, do,
Oh, it is.
do one more and then we'll talk about you.
I'm trying to think, when did Brookside stop?
Which one? Oh, no, let me see.
I saw something there that I'm not happy with, but anyway.
What was it? I've spelled meatball. Just joking. Is it true? No, yes or no? Did former Miss Great Britain did the former Miss Great Britain from 2008 go for a walk along the beach to take pictures for Instagram and end up going to the toilet in her pants, not number one, number twosies?
Oh my god, please be yes.
It doesn't matter because this is being edited out.
Did you kick yourself?
Me and me mate Kim was sat there and she's drove off, right? She went to deliver cream at Coffee Martin's house. I was like, Coffee let me in, Coffee went there.
I was just recovering from COVID. I hadn't eaten in a week and then I had a big feed and listen, it happens to us all.
No, it doesn't. Not after the age of 3. It doesn't happen. It's never happened to me, and I'm an alcoholic.
Right, okay, so that'll be... I'm going to cut that out, so don't worry about that.
No, but the funny thing
Oh my
was,
God.
she's rang us, right, Mick, and she's rang us, and we're recording the phone, and she's I just shit myself.
That should be like one of those inspirational quotes. Models shit themselves too.
Terrible.
It's in my shoes. I'm just about to go.
On the catwalk beat.
Come on, she goes. She says, I've just had to go.
Sorry.
She goes, I've just had to go into the store and pretend to them. My child shit himself in the car to get baby wipes.
I just said, listen, my wee baby has had an accident in the car and he baby wipes
All
me
over my
out.
arse.
Anyway, I can't believe
My
that's
wee baby
public
shit
knowledge
myself.
now.
I'm sure there's ways out there about you.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's make it more
God.
about you.
Yes.
No, let's keep talking about that. That was fantastic. This is the best day of my life.
Right, so at least we wanted to make you feel like we're a little bit funny too. But if we should talk about you and where it all started for you and how you got involved in comedy.
And telling jokes.
We jokes there.
I don't know. I think I was always going to do it. I think. I remember like the day we learned about the birds and the bees in school. I was already going, I'm going to do this in stand up. So I must have been thinking about it before that. We basically had we had double science. So they made a special day for us to find out, like because it was proper Catholic school. So we had double science, learned all about fallopian tubes and all that fucking jazz. Then we had exactly. I think it's girl balls. But then we had lunch, and then we had double religion. And it was just, I was confused anyway, because I was like, hang on, like a minute ago it was all fucking sperm, and now it's like, Jesus does it. But during lunch, one of the guys in my class got stoned. So the teacher, remember a teacher would bring out like a big, a massive TV with a video.
And you knew you weren't doing anything.
You knew you were doing
that day.
nothing. Like the international noise for we're watching a video. And the tape started, and I was watching, this guy was sitting across from me, and he's like that. Like fully whiting. He's fucking 12.
We don't condone
Don't take drugs. But he was like completely out of it. And then the two wee Catholic people on the tape both went, they're like pretending to read books. And one of them went, oh hello, I didn't see you there. And this guy across from me went, fuck. And I was like, this is going to stand up. So at about 12 I knew I was going to do it.
Yeah.
So I must have been thinking about it before that. And then it was kind of just going through school. I ended up doing the like the spoof awards at our school formal.
Oh well, I didn't have them in England.
Yeah, well, so it was like hurriest fucking boy in the class and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the tomato sauce award because he goes to anything.
Right.
And one of my teachers went, "You should be a comedian," and I went, "Right," and just decided I'll go to uni and do drama. Bluffed my way through that.
Was you not into like the arts then? Was it just?
It was just stand up, yeah. And that was kind of. I went to uni. I basically thought if I go to uni and do like an acting course, I'll learn loads of different types of performance and things like that. And then started doing stand up when I left uni. So even though I didn't read a book and still got a 2-1. Right.
Wow.
Personality takes it somewhere. You know what I mean? I got my tits out a lot. You know? But yeah, by the time I started doing stand up, I was like, this is easy because I've done.
What did you do at uni?
Drama.
Oh, drama. Yeah.
So like, I mean, I didn't really do the degree. I drank for 3 years and tried to snog people.
Yeah.
And then I was wearing a cape and a hat. I was like, "Are you proud of me, Mum?" But Dad was like, "No, get a real job." No, exactly.
I was told that my whole life.
Yeah.
Get a real job, Gemma. So
100%. But now I'm 30. I'm now nearly 34 and I still live with my man and dad. Like it worked out.
Where did your comedy style come from? Because everyone has like a little bit of a like someone's more of a one-liner, someone does more sketches.
I think to be honest, I come from like a really, really funny family.
Yeah,
Like we're really, really funny people. So like we're always like everyone's got a story to tell. So anytime we get together, there's always this thing of tell everybody that time, and it's always about some time you fucked up.
Yeah.
Like we're not a proud people. We're not going to be like, I did really well today, because if you do, everyone's like, shut your mouth. Tell me about that time you shit yourself on the beach. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it kind of started there. That was just kind of like my first gig was basically telling a story about. Yeah, it was about a guy when I was at uni had his willy pierced and showed us it.
Wow.
So yeah, so my first stand-up bit was like just about how afraid I was being 18 at uni, and this guy was like, "I've got my dick pierced. You want to see it?" I'm like, "No." And then I had a few pints. I was like, "I'll get out."
Where did you go to uni?
McGee in Derry.
Oh.
London, Derry. Sorry, just for, you know. Greater than given.
Stoke,
I mean,
Stoke City.
War's over with the draw. I don't know why I'm going so camp today.
So sat next to me.
Do you think, is there anything that you won't joke about? Do you think we're a snowflake generation now, that people are just like complaining about everything?
No, I think with comedy, that's always been going on. People have always complained about jokes. I think you can joke about anything if you do it right. Mm-hmm. So if you're going out on stage, like I'll never go out on stage trying to shock somebody. You know, like you see people making jokes about everything, but if you're going out thinking it's going to be funny when everyone goes boo, that's not funny. That's just being a dick. Mm-hmm. So you can, if you're skilled enough to do it. There's certain things I won't joke about. Like I won't joke about sexual assault or that sort of stuff, because I don't feel I have the ability to do it well. But if someone can do it well and do it without, trying to offend people, I think it's a.
I think it comes across better when girls do it. Like Amy Schumer can do like little jokes like that. Do you know what I mean? But a man, it's quite a tough subject.
Yeah, it's especially because I think, especially when Me Too happened, I think every single man in the world went, "Oh my God, we're dicks." Yeah. Like a lot of blokes didn't realize how fucking, sorry for swearing a lot, but like a lot of men didn't realize how bad we are. Yeah. Not me. I mean all of us. So yeah, I do think it's kind of. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, I think, and it sounds like I'm going, you should joke about it, but comedy sometimes does help people deal with things. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes as a society it's kind of important to have it happen.
I know when Ricky Gervais came here, a lot of people stood up and walked out of the waterfront or the Odyssey or whatever, but I just think, just because some of the jokes were very close to the bone, but I mean, it's not as if you didn't know what he was going to be like.
On top of that as well, there's a lot of times that what happens is a newspaper will get a hold of something like that and make it worse than what it was.
Of course.
So the story of Ricky Gervais, as I understand it, was, because I've seen the special, he made a joke where he was like, if I had a baby, it would die. And he's trying to talk about how he would smother a child to death because he'd be so nervous, and I think there'd been a couple in the audience who had recently lost a child. They apparently publicly went, we weren't annoyed at him, it was just, it kind of brought it back, and we just thought we'd leave. But the people around that were like, he's a bastard, he's a piece of shit, who weren't there, and that's one of the major problems I think with people complaining about stuff. It's that you weren't even in the room to bitch about it, you know. But that can happen. I mean, I've offended people. I once offended a born-again Christian because I made a really silly joke about I used to have this bit of material about Jesus. Like, you don't hear about him between the ages of like 12 and 33. So he's like, his childhood years, flips the table on the temple,
Yeah.
then
And then he's
nothing,
33.
and then he's got loads of mates. And I'm like, I want to hear about the teenage years when he was like getting his superpowers. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the first time he tries to get in the bath and he can't get in, he's just jumping on it. Like, what the? He's all stressed out in the shower, turns to wine. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Like, and there was a guy in the audience just got up, called me a heathen and left.
Oh, really?
But then his wife, who wasn't born again Christian, was like, he's the dick, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
just about having a sense of humour yourself when it comes
Yeah,
to
I
comedy.
think it can be hard to do because sometimes, you know, you'll see something in the news and you go, I want to make a joke about that, but you have to really just go, can I? You know?
I know.
So yeah, that's kind of it.
Best place that you've ever gigged?
I'm trying to think. There's been a bunch of them. I did the Ulster Hall last year, and that was the best night of my
Wow.
life. Like, just the first time I've ever done stand up. Because I've been doing stand up 12 years, but because it was my show in the Ulster Hall, before I went on, the lights went down and the crowd went ooh, and I nearly started crying. So I walked on stage like, oh no, like, I've done it.
Was you nervous to death?
Absolutely bricking it. Like,
I'm not going to bring it back to me. How do you deal with your nerves going on stage just before you go?
Chain smoking.
Oh, do you?
yeah, like absolutely. I don't really smoke that much normally, but
Yeah.
before a gig, I'll be like fucking like lighting one with the last one.
Will you ever have a drink as well, or just to loosen
If
it
I'm
up?
really, really nervous, no. If I'm excited, I'm kind of like having fun. Like if I'm in a comedy club, I'm gonna be have a drink
Yeah.
because I know I know how it's gonna go
Yeah.
a lot of the time. But with that gig, it was just like there was a point where Dave Elliott, who was supporting me, Connor Keys and a couple other guys were in the dressing room before I went on, and I didn't even have the balls to go, can you guys piss off? Because I can't fucking hear because I was just white noise. And in retrospect, I'm glad they were there because if I'd been
Yeah.
left by myself, I might have completely sort of messed the whole thing up.
Of
But then I
course.
think at the same time, the best gig ever. I remember I walked off stage in Serbia one time,
Did
going
they even understand you?
better than anybody here. Like, I honestly walked off stage in Serbia going, I think I might be the best comedian in the world. Like, that was fantastic. So, I've had a load of brilliant ones, like the Comedy Store in Australia in Sydney. And again, another night where I was just like, Jesus, this is amazing.
You get to do that for a living, like it must
Yeah,
be
well,
amazing.
used to. Ugh,
Thanks, Corona.
I know.
Worst crowd? Do you ever have like really tough crowds? You're just like, what the hell?
So many times, like to the point where I'm kind of lucky. The worst I ever died ever on stage was way back at the start, so it's never been as bad as what happened. So basically, still at uni, and we were doing like a variety night, like a kind of a sort of cabaret evening, and I had to go on after this girl who sang "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" beautifully. Like, I mean, everyone was like, "Oh my god, she's an angel." And then it's like, next up, Micky, and I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, motherfuckers?" And I was doing so bad. The MC, he was the guy in my class, he'd gone off stage to get changed because he was going to do a Britney Spears sketch. So this grown man, he was 36, he's a mature student, came on in a red leather catsuit and a blonde wig with his ball back hanging out. And I was dying, so he just took the microphone in my hand. Like, he literally just took the mic off me. And I had to walk past 300 people to the sound of my own feet. Like, and then the door closed behind me and I was like, "Bow, down, down."
Was it a proper
And how was-
moments to know where he's like
Yeah,
fluffs
it
on
was
stage?
absolutely,
He's like,
absolutely awful.
And
So,
did you think that's me done? With
yeah,
that?
100%. I was like, never again. And then I did, because I basically count my first gig ever was in the Empire. So I basically went, right, if I do the Empire and it goes well, I'll keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And the first sort of 2 years was me going, okay, if I do that, I'll just keep going. But yeah, so after that, nothing's really been, like, I've had a guy one time grab me by the throat. I was in the toilet. This is a bit of I shouldn't really tell this story. I'll tell.
grab me by the
I shit
throat.
myself.
Grab-
Let's remember
like,
that.
you should have, yeah. He grabbed me by the neck and he went, "See, if you ever make fun of my niece again, I'll fucking kill you." And I was like, "Who's your niece?" And he went, "She's not here. That's not the fucking point." And I'm like, "It kind of is, because if she's not even in the room, how to make fun of her? Like, I'm not a clairvoyant comedian." But the thing was, he still had his willy out. I remember like looking as well. I'm thinking, I hope he just punches me because it was massive. I was like, if he hits me with that, it's like he'd break my neck. Like, so that was a scary one. Yeah, one time as well went on, got coined off stage, and because for some reason somebody wanted to have comedians on during a karaoke competition. This is the worst bit. The guy who was emceeing the karaoke knew we were coming on. So I go up like, mate, we're supposed to do a bit of stand up, and he's like, okay, big man, okay. His name was Billy Elvis. He's from Lurgan. He's a big mover and shaker around Lurgan, and he was just basically singing Suspicious Minds every time he had to sing, but in a Lurgan accent. So
Can you do that for me?
he's just going, we're caught in a trap. I can't get it out because I love you too much, daughter. So I get up and I'm like, mate, we're meant to do some stand up, and he goes, right, what's the name, big fella? I'm like, big fella, rude. Anyway, and because all the women are squealing, go on, Dipna, give her next thing, right? I'm like, Micky Bartlet, and he's like, huh? I'm like, Micky Bartlet. He's like, right, gotcha. And then he goes, ladies, please welcome, and I swear this happened, he went, please welcome Ricky Martin, right? So all these women now think they've won a competition. I got up on stage and went, yeah, what's up, motherfuckers? And a 2p hit the wall, and I just went, no. Yeah, just fucking left. It was terrifying.
Sorry.
Lips red. Can I go?
You can go then, okay.
I was watching some of your stand-up, and the one killed me when you was in Liverpool in the hot water comedy club, and you're just, I can't remember what you were saying, but you try saying something, and then one of the Scouse gears in that club, I know what it's like, right? It's pitch black. It's normally the Tuesdays and Wednesdays, the midweek ones are the best ones, and you just know everyone's like being on it all day, getting ready to go, so all the Scousers are like lagging like that, and she just tries to start telling you jokes, don't you? And you're like, no, listen.
Yeah, God love her. She was one of those women where like, and it's almost worse than a heckle when somebody's enjoying it so much, they'll stop you to go, you're brilliant, and you're like, fuck up. You're like, all these people are letting me know. But she was lovely.
I love when people tell you that though.
Yeah, no, it's great. It is great, but you're going, there's another, it just interrupts the flow a wee bit. You know, like if somebody proper heckles, you can stop and then be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
But when someone's like, I love you, you don't really know what to do with it. Like,
it's all right, love you.
Yeah, love you too.
Yeah.
Like,
you was telling the joke actually, it was I was telling everyone about coming over to Liverpool, and then everyone's like, fucking Liverpool, and it's always the same. And we was watching it on the iPad, and I said, just as you went, there's another place, what did you say? People know straight away.
Oh yeah, Birmingham.
Yeah, and before you said it, I went Birmingham, and then you went Birmingham, and I was like, it's so funny because Scousers and people from Belfast are proper in tuned and on the same wavelength.
Oh, 100%. It's like, I think like Belfast, Liverpool, and Glasgow are three places where we're just like, yeah, we all get it.
Yeah.
Because we've all got strong accents, we're all skint.
Yeah.
We're all really good crack, but a wee bit violent.
Wee bit crazy.
You know what I mean? Like we can all take a joke, but there's too far.
Yeah.
You know, we'll all find you if you troll us on the internet. Alright?
Micky, do you ever feel under pressure to bring the laughs? Because I'll tell you why. I do makeup on the side, and any time that we're going out, right? Any time at all, I'm like, I'll come to the house, right? Everybody be ready for 8. Come, nobody has one bit of makeup on. And you're like, nobody getting ready? No, all waiting on me. So I was just thinking, is that a bit the same? Do you feel as if everyone's waiting for you to bring the crack?
See what's weird? When I first started doing stand-up, I'm not Pablo Escobar. Hey, I'm going to buy a tiger, eh, Papi? Here you go. You want a little line of personality, Papi? There you go. Bring the jokes. I meant. When I started doing that, I used to think, I have to be funny all the time. And then what's happened now is, now that I'm not afraid of that, people expect it sometimes, or they think I'm going to make fun of them. So a lot of times I'll come into a party like, don't tell him anything, he'll use it in the stand-up, and you're like, Barbara, you're boring. Yeah.
What colour's the sky and you're wearing, Barbara? Because wise up, I'd never be talking about you.
Exactly. And I've had people freak out. It actually happened a few months ago when the pubs were open for a second.
I had weeks over there in the pub.
Oh my god, I was so drunk. I've been steaming since March. I'll not remember this. But I did have a thing where I was sitting at one table and a bunch of my mates were sitting. So there's like a crowd of us drinking. These guys were going home. I was like, Mr. Party's going to stay on for a few more drinks. And as I was sitting down, this bloke went, are you a comedian? And I was like, yeah. And he tried to say, he went, have you been on TV? And I went, yeah. And he was trying to say it must have been a big TV because you're a fat bastard, right?
Lovely.
But he was panicking, so he went, what the big bucket TV? Oh, big fucking TV. And I hadn't even sat down. I was like, are we going to do this? Like, do you want to dance with the devil, big lad? just spent the entire night being like, fuck up. Like, full schoolboy bullying him. But yeah, usually I'm kind of alright. I'm just naturally hilarious.
Do you not think Do you not have girls or guys dropping at your feet because people love someone who makes them laugh?
Nah.
What?
Like, weird, comedians never get girls dropping. Comedians get,
Weirdos.
yeah, usually blokes that look like me going, I have a good one for you. And they're going to tell, like, they're going
This is
to,
my dad all over.
right, I swear to God, and it's always going to be a racist joke. Like, they'll go, "Wait, here, use this one." You're like, I'm going to hear the N word. Here we go. Right. And then they'll tell you something, and you're like, thanks, mate. Brilliant. Well done. All the best. Bye bye. No, I've never had, like, women dropping at my feet.
But you know that
Get
saying,
your shit
like,
together, girls.
you know the saying, laugh the pants off someone or whatever. That's
Yeah,
not
no one's
real,
ever
is
took
it?
their pants off to the words knock knock. Not my experience anyway. Like,
Run away.
So you're single. We'll put a wee shout out for you. You're single.
aye, girls, come on ahead.
Have you got any date maps?
No, I went on Tinder. So basically, my ex-girlfriend and I had a dog together. So we're still mates.
Mm-hmm.
So I go and look after the dog.
Really?
Yeah, and she sent me she was like, you should see the state of Tinder. So I haven't been on Tinder since I was like maybe 26.
It's bad.
Yeah. So she went, you should go on Tinder, because she was basically sending me these photos. Do you know, like, this sounds awful, but you know, like really, really mutants, like brutal. And you're like, at least take a better photo. So she was sending me all these guys who are like, steaky, fucking 25, love smoking rollies. And I was like, oh my God, what's it going to be like on the other side? And I went on, I was on for a bit. I got a couple of matches, like, pretty quick. And then I got this message from a girl going, hey, big boy. And I'm like, rude. Hi. And they just sent me your number and went, call me.
All right.
And then I didn't for like 5 seconds. She went, your tattoos are shit. And then deleted me off Tinder. And I went, do you know what? This isn't for me. This is just asking to be heckled. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not a fan of it.
I usually just get hey and then a picture of their dick. Great.
I didn't even get that. I'd love a dick pic. Why does nobody send me it? Can't even see me. I'm not fucking fat now. Sorry. I
like
completely
Mr.
took the
Chow.
tone down.
It's like Mr. Chow.
Mickey, as soon as COVID does one, what's going to happen? When you have any plans for stand-up?
Well, I'm supposed to be doing the Ulster Hall in April next year. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully it's almost sold out, so we'll get your tickets.
Where are you from?
Sorry?
Where'd you get the tickets?
Get them on shine.net or a thing called Google.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? What's that?
Do you know what? Oh, this is so awful. See, when people go, where do you get the tickets for your shows? I'm like, type my name into Google and the place you want to see the show, and then it'll just be there.
Yeah.
Because I'm lazy. Like, I can't be asked finding the link. I'm busy. I'm on Tinder. That was one thing I found when I deleted Tinder as well. I forgot how to poo, because that's when I was looking at it.
I know.
You sit there for ages.
Just go to the beach. I could do stand-up.
100%, yeah, definitely.
I said to her, I said, shall we ask him how to like write it, like a joke properly, like how you would then say
No,
it?
it's like a magician. You never give away your tricks.
It's not even, I don't even know how to do it.
It's okay.
So
Like,
you,
it's-
you can't
like how
learn.
to
It has
do
to be
the-
natural, doesn't it?
You can learn how to do stand-up. Like, there's courses about people, but you're...
Is the
I don't know if you can learn how to be a good one, if you know what I mean. You can learn kind of like...
It's like makeup artist.
Yeah, anybody can put a bit of blusher on, but nobody can create fucking gold. You know what I mean? 100%. I'm with you, sister. So I honestly, there's times where I've been on stage and a joke's worked and I've gone, how did I do that?
it just
Like,
flows.
I get a wee bit like, I'm brilliant. So I honestly don't even know how to... which I'm having to learn now because we're not gigging. So I've got loads of notes on my phone of things that I think might be funny. I'm trying to... Yeah, you kind of start with a punchline and work your way backwards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how you like write a serial killer film as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you start there, how the fuck do we get there?
Yeah,
How
exactly.
did he die? Yeah. Well, listen, we'll definitely come to the show.
Happy, I'll throw you a couple of free tickets. We'll go and
Well, that's what I was
go out and
hinting
get,
at, but
we'll go out and get Black Rihanna.
bring Rihanna and yeah. But listen, thank you so much for coming on.
Anytime, thanks for having me. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks.
We have another funny guest coming on, and just because of COVID, we have to do our special thing, so he will just appear in 3, 2,
And he won't.
1.
Let us know what it's like writing a sketch for the Belfast Ma instead of having to write comedy, stand-up comedy. How different is that?
It's so different. It's really different. We don't necessarily even write sketches. Do you know, there's a lot of different, I'll not name other online comedians that do some similar things to us, but they are sketches, and we are always writing for a show. So we're always writing a full production. Mm-hmm. So it has to have a start, a beginning, and an end. It has to have where the show leads to, what's the heart of that story you're telling. Every show has a story. Every one of our shows so far that we've written have a clear aim and purpose. The sketches that go out on Facebook then, on our page and things like that, are sketches off the show, so there's sneak peeks nearly of the show. You can nearly guarantee when you come to see the show, you'll see a lot of them in there as well. So we don't ever sit down just to write a sketch. I think that would be easier for us.
Yeah.
We have to sit down and storyboard a full production, a full show.
How long does that take?
Well, the most recent show, the first one we wrote, took a couple of months. It was our first Belfast Ma show together, and then we were writing the pantomime for Waterfront Hall last Christmas as well. So we were writing the Frozen Princess at the same time. So going from a West Belfast, North Belfast, East Belfast character to
I
writing
didn't
this.
know that was you done the Frozen Princess.
Me and Tom Roundtree Finlay wrote that together as well.
I went to see that with Paddy McGurgan. That was hilarious.
Did you love it?
Loved it.
I see.
I didn't know that was you.
Yeah, that was us as well. So we'd written that last year, but we were writing that in between writing the Belfast Mess. We were going from this like beautiful princess Christmas story to writing the most
Filth.
Well, it's not even filth, but you know, strong woman. So you're writing a strong character, and it was so different as well because when you're writing the Belfast Ma, you're writing it's a one-woman comedy show.
Of course.
So you have to keep an audience engaged for nearly an hour and a half without anybody else speaking back to them.
I imagine the emotions watching that, you take them to big highs, really laugh to some kind of sentimental touches as well.
There is, absolutely, and every show has that. You know, it's very important to get the comedy out because we are comedy writers and it's a comedy piece, but the wee bit of heart just resonates with everybody, and it's so important just that that's there. This time round writing the show was very different. This was done with lots of vodka. Smoke breaks. No Polish vodka, I fell out with it. Smoke breaks and Zoom. So it was done during lockdown. We had planned to write the show. We'd planned to go away together to write the show this year, and we were going to go away for 2 weeks, away from everywhere, sitting together, doing our storyboards, and then all of a sudden we had to set up our home offices, storyboards on our walls behind us, flip chart papers everywhere, but doing this all on camera. And you know, you guys work on camera, it's exhausting. See, when you're sitting with someone in a room and you're working, you can get so much more done. And when you're working together on this sort of Zoom format, it is exhausting. Luckily, Tom, my sort of co-writer and co-creator of the Belfast Ma, is one of my best friends, so we just had so much fun. Even online, you know, some nights I got to the end of the night and it was like, we can't write no more because we can't see, because all that vodka in that bottle ended up in a glass at some point.
Just sounds like Poland.
And the new show that we've written as well, it's called The Belfast Ma Does Christmas. So it was bizarre to be sitting in the middle of this pandemic, in the middle of the summer when we got great weather, thankfully, so people could go out and do their exercising and things. Listening to...
do their exercising and things.
No, but you know, like now with a full lockdown come in, you know, it's terrible weather outside, mental health and well-being and all that's been affected. But when we were writing it, we were writing this Christmas show in the middle of April, May, June, into July, blurring like Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas right now. My poor daddy's down the stairs going, I either have dementia or he has something that we need to fix, whatever's going on. And I'm so glad that's the show we decided to write this year, because that's the show that we're putting on in the Devonish complex this December. We're working within all the restrictions of the sort of the government guidelines, the medical evidence, what's coming from Stormont as well. And we're on track, hopefully, now to be going live in the Devonish this December with the Belfast Ma Does Christmas. And it's the only show for Christmas that's going to be on this year.
Really?
Pantomimes have been cancelled.
The people in Northern Ireland need it. We really need it because everyone is just so low.
Yeah.
How can we get tickets for that?
Well, the tickets you can get from our website, which is www.thebelfastma.co.uk, or you can call the Devonish directly. So if you go onto the Devonish's website, all their contact details are on there, and the telephone number, and you can make your booking through them. We just can't wait to turn the place into a Santa's Grotto.
I can't wait. That's
Like,
gonna be
we're
our
all,
big
well,
night out.
that's our
we can't
Christmas
wait
night
to have
out.
you there. Yeah, do you know, I was talking to Tom and all the other night about all the Poland crew going and all together.
The Poland
The
Five.
And the Poland
Six.
Five.
The Poland Six. No, but listen,
We've
it's
left
now
Kimberly out and we apologise.
Sorry, Kim.
but it's now called our WhatsApp group's called We Have COVID, with a Polish flag. But what I was just thinking then, do you know, playing devil's advocate, if the worst came to the worst and that couldn't happen, could you do like an online version where people purchase a ticket and then watch it on the telly, or like...
We've started going a wee bit more online at the minute. Like just last week, we had done an online live bingo night, which was an interactive night for people to come on and play bingo. The prizes were sort of Belfast Ma related. It was for free tickets and things like that. It was a free game, but we found that it was very important as well that we are in a creative space, that we're continuing to be able to be creative.
That's it, yeah.
And there's people now that can't go out on a Saturday night. There's people that are working all week. There's people working in our health services that just need a wee release.
I know.
And this bingo night's been creative for that. There's sketches in between.
Yeah.
Like I work in health service predominantly. That's my main role. You know, I'm working the management team in social care, and it's so difficult come the end of the week. So we have been thinking outside of the stage box and going, what can we do to be a wee bit more creative and allow people to interact more with
No,
the
definitely.
Belfast Ma and things.
And I think Belfast needs it, and without going too low, I want to finish it on high, of course. But you know, people's mental health is it's a serious problem now. With lockdown, people can't even get out, and everyone that we've been speaking to, even on our small circle of friends, is just feeling the same.
Yeah.
This week, it's all gone off with everyone. Like, I just feel like the moon and the lockdown has just destroyed everyone's soul.
Like, how long have we all been asking each other, Mum, we get a wee reunion? And we can't. Because we can't bring 6 households together to even have a meeting. A reunion. But, you know, given if this all can go ahead and government guidelines allowing, we have the Devonish set up in a way. We've reduced the capacity that can come into the hall. The Devonish will give us their great ballroom, which is massive. We can socially distance each table by 2 metres and still fit the whole room in.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a great complex.
And
Is it,
we've
yeah?
moved, the tables that we're using are absolutely they're huge, big function tables, and we're only allowing 6 people around the table as well, do you know, from 2 households.
Oh my
Well,
God,
listen,
is that-
we'll definitely have.
We have
we'll
COVID.
six.
I've got one.
We'll take a 6 table.
And how long does it take us to get to that stage?
When-
When really?
When did we get home? The 23rd of September?
Yeah.
And we're in November now?
In November, and it's going to be December by the time we get this night out. So many people deserve it. The show itself is so loving. It's full of Christmas, it's full of happiness, but it's full of crack.
Is it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're going to come out of there and want to put an extra tree into your living room
Yeah.
because it's just
That good?
the process. Paul Nugent is playing
I
Sadie Divine this time.
absolutely love him. He is so funny.
Well, the crack we have had in the rehearsal room, they're rehearsing at the minute as well, and it's been ongoing. You know, we've been lucky to be able to continue to rehearse because we only have the one artist. And Tom Roundtree Finlay, who's the co-creator, producer and writer with me, also is the director of the show. They're fantastic. Like, Paul is just pulling Sadie right out there this year for us, and Tina Alexander done a fantastic job on her last year as well.
We
do you
have
know?
so much talent here in Northern Ireland when it comes to stuff like this.
Absolutely. And
Do you ever see yourself going full time in that role? Or I know you love your main job. I know.
I love my main job, and do you know what? If the opportunity came to do this full time, absolutely as well. Do you know, it's something that I never thought. I'd been on stage for years. Do you know, I kind of, like what Mick had said before, I go into a house party or a family party and they're looking at me going, what's he going to say next? They're looking at comedy out of me. And I would never want to go into it full time as an artist to be on stage. I love writing and creating it now. And if the space ever came available, that was my everyday life, that would be absolutely
days.
fantastic. Like,
The dream.
yeah.
Thomas, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for
We
having me on,
are-
Ellen. I feel like I'm on the Ellen and Oprah show. This is delightful.
I'm Ellen, she's Oprah.
I'm Oprah, yeah. I know.
I'm not Oprah.
You'd be a bit more of a Jerry Springer if we're going to make comparisons, Molly, to be honest with you.
Sorry, Jesse Raphael. Ricky Lake.
Ricky, yeah. Listen, we'll be there in December.
Can't wait to have you there.
As long as COVID allowing.
Yeah.
And thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me in.
So guys, anyone who does not know what the Belfast Ma is, this is a wee snippet.
Hiya trees of love, what's up? You caught doing what? Doing the double? You're a fucking liar. How did they find out you were working? By what the ladders say? Well, Mummy Teresa, what are you going to do? Listen, you're going to have to ring your woman from Citizens Advice. Remember the girl I spoke to when they caught me? Aye, when I was working in the schools. Yeah, tell her you're only in giving them a wee hand. Better still, say you'd called in to get a big battered sausage and Patsy was busting to go to the toilet, so she asked you to keep an eye on fryers because she didn't want them to set on fire. Aye. And here, you got cash in hand in there. Like, you're fucking flying then, love. A lot of you're working. Photos? Where to get them? Some vindictive wee bastard said it in you. I wouldn't put it past that big fat bastard who lives next door to me. Maureen? She's always asking what you're at. Big jealous hole. But I tell you what, Cheesa, see if I found out it was her. Alright, there'll be murder.
Thank you so much, and as usual, please share the Brunch Club. Please don't be a dick in our comments. We will find you.
I've been to one house this week, only one.
And we have another special guest. He's not up and coming. He has supported Quarterline, John McCorry. John, thank you so much for coming on. I was at the Nolan show when you were surprised with Quarterline.
Yes.
And now you're on the Brunch Club. Like your career's really progressed.
No, I'm shocked to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. You come on because you're my friend.
But can I just butt in? Me and all my friends in September were supposed to go to Portugal, and we couldn't go because of COVID, so they all came to Belfast, and I'd never met you before, and we was going to meet Gemma, and we was walking past Primark, and I can't remember what song you were singing, but my best mate's mum was like, we need to go back and give that lad money. And then we came, and I think she gave you like a tenner and put it in, and then we walked away, and we was talking about you all day.
Really?
And then I ended up seeing you once in Marty's kitchen, like on his Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, there's that lad. So yeah.
No, Marty's been great. I probably wouldn't be busking in the city only for Marty, and it's been great, you know. It's been a crazy couple of years, 2 years now busking. Covered a lot of ground in that time. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of places. I've bussed in New York, I've bussed in Liverpool, I've done Leeds, Manchester, Carlisle, Glasgow, Belfast, Dublin. You know, so it's all about spreading it out and trying to keep the momentum up and to release good music as well, you know. I'm very lucky to have Jonathan on board, who's been playing guitar with me now for the past 2 years, and he's a great asset to have, especially as far as creating new music and picking stuff. So I'm lucky that I've got a new album out, as I was telling you, and I'm buzzing till till I have this out, and Jonathan's worked really hard on it.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's all songs that people have wanted, and I said I was going to do an album of stuff that people have genuinely wanted.
Is this covers?
This is all covers, and
here?
it's all stuff that people have asked me for over the past year and a half, and it's time now to focus on our own stuff.
Yeah.
That's what we heard you sing, All I Want by Codaline.
All I Want,
oh
yeah.
my God, we was like, I think we've been on the ale the night before as well.
Yeah, I mean, your voice is one of the best voices I've ever heard.
Thank you.
With the thing with Codaline, is that still going ahead, or has COVID fucked that up? Or?
No, well,
COVID fucked everything.
I know that we have planned for next March. Whether that gig still goes ahead, it could well go ahead. That remains to be seen. Like, I've been lucky to be in contact with Steve Garrigan from Codaline, and he messaged me actually the day that the gig was released, and told me that it'd still be a part of the show.
Yeah.
So it's really good to have feedback and stuff, and as long as they're keeping me in the loop, I'm happy. Like, you know, so nobody knows.
Do you know, if you don't get a gig with them, I know another band called Urban Angel. This is they're doing a comeback tour for Christmas, and it's
oh, I was going to touch you, COVID.
It's a Northern Irish group, and Gemma Garrett's in it. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard the song.
Me in this band.
You want to see my Insta story today?
No,
we was talking about you. We've drove here.
If we'd have known this, we could have covered one of the songs by the band.
You want to hear Gemma go, oh baby,
I want to hear you sing
baby.
a wee line or two of the song, Jonathan.
We're going to auction this off for charity. And also, who thinks that Urban Angel should make a comeback? I think we should.
Who was in the band?
So there's
Can
me,
you even
Gemma.
remember the names?
Of course, Mark is a good friend of mine, Ed and Gaz. I can't
So was
sing
Ed
them,
and
no.
Gaz as good a friend as Mark? Because just
Can you just look at them?
Ed looks like
You've
he
got
looks
what's the
like
man from Savage Garden?
He's just a legend. But there's that headphones he's got on around his neck.
Can I just say, this was back in 2004, and you did say that the
I thought
songs
you were
were
going to say
pretty
it's from
good.
99 or something.
Listen, no, I know. I went. This was pre-Miss GB. Do you know what I mean? So
Anyway, back to you. Yes, so maybe next March with Codaline,
Yes,
fantastic.
there's a lot of stuff. We've a lot of stuff we're trying to plan. We've done the Empire gig.
It was amazing. I was there too. Like, I'm a big fan of John.
It was really good and it was sold out. So the next thing we'd like to achieve would be till I suppose just to get another big venue, possibly bigger than the Empire when all this is over, and do another gig like that. I think last Christmas I set out a few goals and I've already kind of done them this year. So next year I'm just gonna put out bigger things that I want to achieve, you know. So
well done, lads.
Speak it into the universe, as we say.
hopefully.
Right, so just so everyone knows and we don't fluff it up in editing, give us the date and the platform that this will be available on.
So the full album isn't on it. The album has just been sold as hard copy and it's released already. So if you send a message to my Facebook or my Instagram, John Garrity Music, and we're putting the main track on the album, which is Ryan McMullen's Belfast City. We're going to release that on Spotify tomorrow, which is Monday. So yeah, I'm buzzing. So Jonathan's done a massive job on it as well in his own studio, and then I went down
Have you, son?
to finish it off.
Well,
so.
do you know what we should do then? We should have, I know you give us the opportunity to pick which song you're going to sing us out to, so maybe we should listen to that one.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, whatever one you want to do. And we'll move and let Jonathan get in.
No worries. And I'll be on my way, leaving West LA at sunrise. The time's been great, I kinda wish that I could stay for a little while longer. Oh no, I got to go, but I want you to know that I'll be back again. I'm going home to the people I love, where I was born and raised, where the streets and the history remain, and know how the times have changed. I know it rains, but it's always pretty. Back to my friends that I can't take with me. We'll have a night out in Belfast City, alright. Now I can't sleep, and I can tell you honestly, this ain't gonna be easy. 'Cause I'm still dreaming, and it's got Micky feeling a little high, but that's alright. Oh, I got to go, but I want you to know that I'll be back again. I'm going home to the people I love, where I was born and raised, where the streets and the history remain, and oh, how the times they changed. I know it rains, but it's always pretty. Back to my friends that I can't take with me. We'll have a night out in Belfast City, alright.